Tonight, a look at the resources available locally for a growing number of transgender children, teens, and young adults.
And doctors say it's critical these individuals receive care and support while deciding whether to transition. So we're sitting down with the head of two programs at Hasbro Children's Hospital that provide counseling and medical care to about 500 transgender patients.
We also spoke with a local family who's sharing their journey through this process. Patrick Little is here now with the story you'll see only on Eyewitness News.
As most parents would agree, parenting can be both rewarding and challenging. Ann and Torrin Drosbeck of Hopkinton, Massachusetts, already had 3 children when their youngest child, Skylar, was born back in 2005. They thought that they were prepared for absolutely anything, but never could have anticipated what was in store for them.
I just thought to myself that I would rather have a happy son than a dead daughter. And the fact that he even said to me when he was 6 years old, if I die, can I come back as a boy? Like, who would even be thinking that at 6?
Even when thinking back to a time when Skylar was her daughter, Ann uses male pronouns. She says her son's comment at just 6 years old was one of many early indicators that her youngest child did not identify with his assigned gender. No subliminal messages, no doubts. Skylar was a boy.
I was really upset when I had to be like a girl, but I absolutely loved it when I had to be like a boy, because that's what I wanted to be.
Right. First, there was a suit instead of a dress for First Communion at age 7. Then at 9 years old, a haircut.
The first thing he said was, "Don't I look handsome?"
Shortly after that, a name change. Skylar was now Luke.
We see folks any age, really. We see folks, I think our youngest patient is 4. Our oldest patient is in their 70s or 80s.
Dr. Michelle Forcier is a pediatrician at Hasbro Children's Hospital who specializes in gender and sexual health. She started seeing Luke 3 years ago at the Adolescent Healthcare Center in Providence.
We wish we were the first stop in terms of folks identifying that their kid may have gender questions or be gender exploring. The earlier and sooner we can see kids, the better.
The next set of challenging decisions for Luke and his family revolve around possible permanent physical changes.
We decided to put him on puberty blockers. He was 9. So puberty blockers are completely reversible. Once you go off of them, puberty would just pick up right where it left off. We'll start testosterone when he's 14 or 15.
Sure.
13.
He can't wait.
Right.
So when a boy would normally go through puberty. But he, like I said, he's never wavered. He can't wait to grow a mustache and a beard.
Along with the emotional journey, parents of transgender children also have to consider the cost of exploring a transition.
I can say that in 2016, Rhode Island followed other states in creating laws that basically said insurance companies can't exclude transgender care. Insurance companies used to say, "Oh, we just don't do that," and that is now it's legally not okay to do that in Rhode Island.
Now, Dr. Forcier says it's also very uncommon for transgendered patients to regret initiating their transitions. Occasionally, someone will choose not to because of economic reasons, because they're afraid of some social discrimination, or because of family issues. I'm Patrick Little, Eyewitness News.
Now, more local coverage. This is Eyewitness News on WPRI 12.
Tonight, we're taking a look at the local resources available for transgender children, teens, and adults.
On Eyewitness News Live at 5, we introduced you to a boy who recognized that his gender identity did not match the one he was born with, and how his family supported his transition.
New at 6, a closer look at why that support can be life-changing. Eyewitness News reporter Patrick Little is here now with a story you'll see only on Eyewitness News.
Luke Drosbeck was born Skylar, but knew early on in life that he was a boy and not a girl. Now he's about to turn 12 and says that he finally feels comfortable in his own skin.
When he was around 6 years old, he asked me if he died, could he come back as a boy?
Remembering a time when Skylar was her daughter, Luke's mom, Ann, uses male pronouns. She says she doesn't feel a sense of loss. She feels like she's gained a child.
There's solid data that suggests family acceptance is a critical factor in kids doing well in terms of health outcomes.
Dr. Michelle Forcier is a pediatrician at Hasbro Children's Hospital who specializes in gender and sexual health. She helped start a pair of programs for transgender patients, one for children and one for adults. Those programs are the first of their kind in Rhode Island and treat over 500 patients.
Parents who are rejecting of their kids because of their gender identity or sexual identity, those kids are at higher risk for depression, for self-harm and suicidality.
Ann found those same statistics and said it scared her, but she says her family still wasn't on board. They thought this was a phase.
When it really hit home for the rest of my family was a couple weeks before his first communion, when he was 7. He came to me crying, and he told me he was really afraid to receive first communion. And I said, "Why are you afraid?" And he just said, "Please don't make me wear that dress."
It wasn't right away, and it wasn't easy, but after that, other members of the Drozbeck family started to accept their new reality.
I think my husband had a harder time with it. He gets emotional when he talks about it because he just wants him to be happy, and I think that he thinks his life is going to be harder because of it.
Ann's oldest son just graduated from high school, and 3 years later, still having a hard time with Luke's transition.
My brother.
Your brother had a hard time with this.
He still has a hard time.
He thinks it's a choice.
Ann also has 2 daughters who have been very supportive. That kind of support is now what Ann wants to provide for others.
I just want people to know that there are other people out there that are going through the same thing.
And when I was Skylar, I was upset for being Skylar, and now as I'm Luke, it feels a whole lot different now that I can be happy and not be like scared.
Now, Luke spends a few weeks each summer at a camp for transgendered kids in New Hampshire. We have a link to the camp and other resources for transgender kids and adults and their families on our website, WPRI.com. I'm Patrick Little, Eyewitness News.